Welcome to WYCE's Community Close-Up. Community Close-Up is our weekly public affairs program produced in partnership with the Rapidian, a hyperlocal news service of the Grand Rapids Community Media Center. Community Close-Up brings you a diverse perspective from community leaders throughout West Michigan. I'm your host, Janet Zahn, and it's my pleasure to welcome to our program this week, Jess Young, Executive Director with East Hills Council of Neighbors. Welcome, Jess. Great to have you here. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much. It's so nice to be in the studio.
Right. East Hills Council of Neighbors was founded in 1978 as a group of committed neighbors came together to find solutions to the crime and blighted home conditions in the area. This was the beginning of the East Hills Council of Neighbors. Tell us a little bit more about the early work and evolution of the East Hills Council of Neighbors.
Yes. So we are community organizers, and actually I would be not a great organizer of my community if I didn't say right now, if you are in your car at this moment, head toward Wealthy and Eastern, the corner of Wealthy and Eastern, because right now the East Hills Council of Neighbors, in partnership with the Wealthy Street Business Alliance, is having a Wealthy Street block party. So there are vendors and food and drinks and live music until 6 p.m. today. So stop what you're doing, continue listening to this program, maybe on your way over to that corner of Wealthy and Eastern, and we'll talk about that event maybe a little later. But I just wanted to, right off top, if you can be on your way to that party right now.
That's right. One of the great things that neighborhood associations do is host activities in their in the neighborhoods, and this sounds like such a fun one.
Yes, it is. We are so looking forward to it. It's the first annual, hopefully, Wealthy Street block party that we are doing in partnership with the Wealthy Street Business Alliance. So that's all of the businesses along the East Hills part of Wealthy, which is, and actually I think the Wealthy Street Business Alliance actually is all of Wealthy, but the East Hills part of Wealthy is between Fuller and Union, which is not a part of Wealthy that we have historically seen events like this happening. So I'm very excited to activate that part of the street in this way. Also, that corner of Eastern and Wealthy is a place that's been empty for a little while. It used to be the Lee and Birch store, but they moved somewhere else in the neighborhood, relocated to a bigger space, and then this building has been empty for a little bit, and also it's a couple of parking lots that have been empty for a while, and a green space behind it that has been empty for a long time too. So one of my favorite parts of this event is that we're activating a space that has not been used, and in our neighborhood, and now maybe we'll talk about the history of our neighborhood. So we are the actually, I think, most densely populated neighborhood in the city. So vibrancy,
really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah, we actually just, it was Heritage Hill for a long time, and Heritage Hill is our neighbor to the west. And but it just became us. So we're actually one of the smallest neighborhoods geographically. So I just said that the Fuller to the east is our boundary, and then Union to the west, and then north and south it's Fuller and Wealthy. I'm sorry, Fulton and Wealthy.
Okay.
So Fulton to the north, Wealthy to the south. So Wealthy is that southern border that we have with Baxter, and then we share with Heritage Hill, Union, and share with Easttown, Fuller, and then share with Midtown, Fulton. So in this kind of small little space of the city, we are the most densely packed, which I love, because it really, we're living in the city because we want to, and we want vibrancy, and so our parks are always full, our sidewalks are always lively, and there are lots of thriving businesses. The neighborhoods and the neighbors know each other because they see each other around all the time, and so it's just a really great place to live. And that came from these original founders of the East Hills Council of Neighbors in the 1970s. We're celebrating 45 years this year. So in the late 1970s, a small but passionate group of neighbors came together. They knew that they were stronger together, and they really became community organizers through this group that they created. Many of them still live in the neighborhood today. I still know and love them and seek their counsel sometimes. and they're still doing great things in the neighborhood as well. And so they came together, and the problems in the neighborhood that they were dealing with at the time were blight, as you said, gang violence, and some of these other issues that were also citywide, but really in a problem in East Hills. So they came together and worked together to really solve those issues, and then sort of everyone thereafter in the East Hills Council of Neighbors built upon that. And that's what created this vibrant, beautiful, safe place where I get to live and work today.
Oh, it is. It is a great testimony to the fact that people can make a difference in their neighborhood. You know, we are all able to influence and improve the situation in our neighborhoods, and organizing it's a hard thing to do, but it is a great thing to do. And there's nothing more rewarding than seeing your neighborhood become more active, to become more vibrant. And there's a lot going on in East Hills. It is definitely small but mighty in terms of everything that's going on there. What are some of the current focuses that you have?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right in people coming together and being real stewards of the place where they live, and a voice for to city organizers, to the state, to whatever powers that be. We are partnering with and representing the people who live in East Hills. So I love to partner with the businesses on things like the Wealthy Street Block Party going on right now. But that we are representing the people who live in the neighborhood. And so I like to think of it as, so I also live and own with my partner Trevor a historic home in the neighborhood built in 1888, and we think of ourselves as like caretakers of this home because so many people came through before us, and so now we're in like our time period of being caretakers for this home, and we want to be good for the people, to be good for the people who come after us, right? Like we want to do the best that we can with the time that we have for this home, so that it can remain a really great place to live for everyone after, because it's going to have a life. It had a life before us, and it's going to have a life after us. And that is like an extension of that feeling is what I have for the neighborhood as a whole, the neighborhood that surrounds this home. So I feel like in my time, we can be really great caretakers of this neighborhood for the people who come after. Because like I said, I see the people who are organizing in the 70s and the 80s, and I know I'm lucky enough to know them, and I know that I'm building on what they created. So I want people to be able to build on what I'm doing too. And so some of the things that we are doing today, they're really the same. It's the same mission and the same sort of topics, but in a different way. So as far as, let's say, safety, we have a lot of public safety initiatives, and that's one of the things that we partner with the city and partner with GRPD, partner with the fire station, fire department about. And so back 45 years ago, it was a lot of gang violence and these abandoned spaces that had become places where people gathered to maybe do some shady stuff. And so now we are focused still on safety, but it looks a lot different. So it does look like activating these spaces in the neighborhood, but it also, one of the biggest crimes that we have is car break-ins and also car larceny that's happening around the city. So we can solve some of these things through what we call CPTED, which is crime prevention through environmental design. We do that throughout the neighborhood. So this is a way of reducing crime by preventing it in the first place. So you can use the environment to make it maybe not so susceptible to crime. So let's say if we're talking about cars, just not leaving your laptop, your purse, anything of value visible in your car is going to go a really long way to making sure your car's not broken into.
Yeah, I think people have to be smart about what kind of temptations they want to, actually just leave so visible as that. That seems like pretty standard in all cities these days. Anywhere you go, they're like, don't leave your laptop on the back seat or whatever. So I think that that kind of education to the neighborhood, so that it is safer for people and their possessions, and especially cars. That's an important piece of, our sort of our major possession next to a house.
Yeah, we can take those, that same idea and move it to our house too. So like,
sure.
Like the valuables in the car is a really simple way to explain Step Ted, but you can do that with your house too. Make sure, there's not vegetation covering, covering like the windows, or making like part corners of your home that are not visible to the sidewalk, things like that. You can implement this all over your home and your neighborhood to prevent crime.
It is great to hear the good work that East Hills Council of Neighbors is doing. And you've got something, the event is going on right now, the block party on Wealthy Street, but you've got a big event coming up in October.
We do.
So we got just a minute or so left. So let's talk about that for a minute.
Yes. So we also have our 45th annual meeting in October, and that is October 20th. And I don't want to ruin the radio magic, but we're recording a little early this interview, so you can find the location at our website or on our Facebook page, easthillscouncil.org. And that is a great chance. These annual meetings happen even if you're not in East Hills. Your neighborhood association probably has an annual meeting similar to this, but ours is on October 20th, and it's a great, we do sort of a state of the neighborhood address, and it's a good time to, whether you're new or you've been in the neighborhood for a long time, come find out what's going on in the neighborhood association, maybe where you can plug into, and also just come meet your neighbors and have some snacks and some drinks.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to learn. Thank you so much, Jess, for coming in to share all this great information about the work of East Hills Council of Neighbors. You can get more info on their website. That's easthillscouncil.org. They're also on Facebook, facebook.com/easthillsgr. Thank you to our guest today, Jess Young, Executive Director of East Hills Council of Neighbors. You've been listening to WYCE's Community Close-Up, a weekly public affairs program produced in partnership with the Rapidian, a hyper-local news service of the Grand Rapids Community Media Center. This is WYCE's Janet Zahn. Thank you for joining us.